people from both countries. The regional director of Vodafone is here to accompany us. Dear friends, Valera, and everyone here, thank you very much for getting us on board for the third time around in this type of activities. Thank you very much for your attention as well.
Gracias, José Luis Ripoll.
Thank you, José Luis Ripoll. We will now give the floor to the first Executive Vice President of the ONCE Foundation, Alberto Duran. Alberto, I said this earlier, and I reiterate this. I would like to thank the Foundation and everyone working at Fondosa for this type of work that has been conducted in Catalonia these days. Alberto, you have the floor. Welcome. Thank you, Teresa Frances Xavier, José Luis Ripoll, President of the Vodafone Foundation and Secretary General of Telecommunications and Information Society, Dorothy. Thank you for being here and for helping us throughout this project in this third conference. We have been very careful ever since the very beginning to organize these. We have put all of our efforts. The Director General for Accessibility and Enrique from R&D have been at the forefront. Thanks to them, this has been a reality. In the third edition, as José Luis said earlier, I want to thank all of the speakers, all of the people who have participated, all of the companies that have somehow collaborated with us. Without them, it would have been much harder to continue with what we do, to work in all of the projects, accessibility, culture, art promotion, job creation projects we are part of. And of course, we need as many people as possible. And if we have a fundamental asset at this foundation, is this pool of friends and associations that help us along the way. Teresa was saying that she's grateful to us, but we are grateful as well for having been welcome at these facilities for people with disabilities in Catalonia, for members of ONCE. This is a wonderful project that ONCE launched a couple of years ago. It is a showcase of everything that can be done for blind people and for people with disabilities. I think it's the best container for this type of content. And that's why, in this case, we, the content, are grateful to the container for this wonderful opportunity. I remember the first time in 2005 when we had the first edition of DRT for All. Nobody probably thought about a third edition with more than 200 participants, speakers, people interested in coming from different countries. So this moves forward because the goal is still valid. There are still people with disabilities whose life is a tiny bit harder than anybody else's. And there are still company associations that can help these people live with a higher degree of independence. This can be done because of different reasons, because of some kind of social mandate, because of financial interests, because we are relevant as a group and we are significant in terms of statistics. Regardless of the reason behind it, I tend to say this: if we matter, that's a positive value, you know. At least somebody thinks we are important, we matter. And people with disabilities are important. It's a matter of rights, of course, but at the same time, you need different arguments to convince different people. So it's about purchase power, it's about the abilities of people with disabilities, and that's why we need this type of services and technologies at our disposal. Services and technologies that for many people bring about an easier life, a more comfortable life, but for many of us, these days we have seen many examples, people who will benefit from what is being discussed here these days. For these people, having or not having this technology means being or not being, existing or not existing, receiving or not receiving information. So at the end of the day, being able to fully develop themselves with all of their potential, their wishes, their needs, and to offer their mind and talent to the service of other people. So it indeed, I don't think there's a highest purpose in humankind. I think that should be the raison d'etre for this project, to keep it alive. And as I said, always supported by many of the companies and groups behind it. For instance, the Vodafone Foundation, so many others who are helping us in any ONCE project, people who have been willing to collaborate with us. These are very hard times. The Universal Convention for People with Disabilities has been recently adopted. Spain has ratified the document in its entirety. It's part of the positive law. The UNDOWN also included these other regulatory frameworks that were already in force. Technological accessibility has its own standards, but still today there are so many problems that need to be solved. Some of them are not even justifiable. We cannot justify digital television, which is round the corner, and it's not accessible, and it will not be accessible when it starts. There's no justification whatsoever, not the investment, nor the effort. It doesn't justify that high percentage of our population to be deprived of that right. They will have limited rights to information, to job, to information, leisure, news, through television. And even today, there are still many barriers in internet, although there's this obligation for public administration, public websites, the ones funded by public funds, to be accessible. We're working at CERMI, at the ONCE Foundation, at the EcoCarn here in Catalonia. We're all working together for these things to change. Of course, we are faring much better than years before, but there's still a long way to go. We know this, and conferences such as this one make it apparent that technology is here to help people with disabilities, but at the same time, using this for all, not from the point of view of comfortability, but rather from the point of view of rights, this sometimes is not achieved. And it is not achieved without any justification. There's no excuse. The conference has drawn its own conclusions, and this has happened in the other cases about what technology can do in public and private environments. All of these conclusions are important, and that's why we want to use this opportunity to claim, to send that message out there. We still need a lot of things to change in this society for that 10% of the population that has disabilities to feel part of society with all of their rights. And sometimes also the elderly, people who now have limited abilities in their functionality. So I think that this conference should be the right forum to say this out loud and to recognize that from the world of disabilities, we offer our support to private and public companies who can mobilize and can change society and make it a little bit better for everyone. The CERMI, COCARMI, and all of the associations of the world of disabilities, we tend to speak about this problem and to offer a solution at the same time. So we believe that the same thing goes for technology. Thank you very much to all of the teams that have worked very hard for us to be here today, to the people at the ONCE Foundation in Catalonia, to the companies, to the speakers, and everyone who have decided to spend 3 days here with us in this wonderful city, but focusing on this project of the ONCE Foundation. Thank you very much.
Sí, gracias, Alberto. Ya para finalizar, para poner el broche final a este tercer congreso.
And now we know that to finish up with this third Congress, we're going to give the floor to the Secretary General of Telecommunications and Information Society from the Catalan government, Mr. Jordi Bosch. The floor is yours.
Mr. Moore, Mr. Duran, Mr. Palagi, welcome to Barcelona Welcome to Catalonia. On behalf of the Catalan government, it is an honor to participate at this closing ceremony of the third International Conference on DRT for All.